As mentioned prior, the incorporation of technology and social media in communication has forever altered the way people interact with one another. This overall advancement has had both benefits and consequences over the last few decades, as people now use computers as a normal way of communicating. This has led to the development of computer-mediated communication, otherwise known as CMC. The use of computer systems with technology has allowed for what is called collocated social interactions, which can be understood in four ways: enabling, facilitating, inviting, and encouraging. Enabling deals with the use of technology that allows for social interaction, which emphasizes how modern computer systems allow for people to socially interact completely digitally. Facilitating deals with the way people can interact, collaborate, and support others with less tension and negative experiences. Inviting deals with using technology for social interactions, focusing on inviting others to engage at a specific place or time. And encouraging emphasizes persuasion and incentivizing through the use of technology, often for group objectives. The basic idea behind technology and collocated social interactions is to understand that we use tech and media tools to aid us in social interactions, facilitating, informing others, and persuading the people, all through digital means. The evolution of using the CMC process has inevitably developed what is labeled the online identity, which is the focus of how people present themselves online. Those who study communication generally categorize online identities in three ways: anonymous, pseudonymous, and real. An anonymous identity refers to the concealing of one's identity during a CMC interaction. This can be done for a number of reasons, such as to protect oneself from harm or to protect something about their image and position. However, the anonymous identity is also connected with some major unethical practices, such as luring people. This can be observed in practices such as catfishing, where an online persona is fabricated in order to trick another into a form of a relationship. It can also be used for cyberbullying, which is a form of bullying that is practiced digitally. A pseudonymous identity refers to the creation of a false identity and steps taken to prevent the exposure of who they are. This can be done for the purpose of contributing to something and lessen the risk of consequences, or can be used to create an image of oneself to deter from their true identity. There is also real identity, which is the actual real identity of the person without hiding. As online identities are used, they also partake of what is labeled dramaturgical analysis. This term refers to the idea that our online identities have a front stage and a backstage presentation. The front stage refers to the actions which a person exhibits when they know other people are watching them. For example, front stage behaviors can often be observed in social media posts, photos we share online, profile information, and sometimes our group memberships. The backstage refers to a person's behaviors they partake in when no one is watching. For example, if a person visits certain sites or participates in certain online behaviors without being known. Connected with the front stage is what we call online impression format. This refers to how we present ourselves online, also known as our online persona. One of the advantages of having an online persona is the ability to alter and control how we desire to come across to others. In other words, we get to guide and control how others perceive us. This online persona can be our true selves, an altered version of ourselves, or a complete fabrication of who we really are. As our world grows in the use of social media platform, CMC, and the implementation of online identities, we have been able to observe and study many of the benefits and consequences of our modern-day communications. One of the major benefits is the ability to communicate faster and immediately. For example, people no longer have to be immediately available to communicate. We can deliver messages faster than any other generation and get things delivered digitally within microseconds. We can also communicate long distances in a way that was never optional a couple of decades ago. With social media, we can communicate with anyone around the world in real time, with little to no cost. It was not too long ago where if one wanted to call someone out of the city, they had to pay per minute for the phone use. The cost per minute increased based on the distance. For example, if you called outside your county, it was more expensive. And if you called out of state, the price was raised. And if you called out of country, you normally would purchase a phone card and place a certain amount of money on it to call another country, which could cost more than $1 a minute. With the ease of communicating long distance, those days are all but disappeared. This has also affected how we consume worldwide news. News can now be delivered immediately and in real time. There is no longer a time gap between worldwide events which used to have to wait on printing of newspaper and delivery, or wait for a journalist to travel across the world to deliver what was happening. Another major benefit is the ability to communicate cross-culturally. We now have the ability and access to almost any other culture in the world, but we also have the technology to translate languages in real time as well. Not only can I communicate with cultures who speak different languages, I can speak to them almost as if we understood each other in a normal conversation. Although there are many more benefits we could list off, there are also some major consequences. One of those consequences has to do with our time. Technology was created as a means to save us time, but one of the unfortunate outcomes is that it now consumes vast portions of our time. For example, social media may help us save time in communication, but it also is extremely entertaining and has been used to draw people towards being used almost non-stop. This leads to another major consequence, which is we become dependent on this technology. Not only does it save us time, but we use it for nearly everything in our lives. We become so dependent on it that we get anxiety when we are not communicating with it. Another major consequence is the loss of interpersonal communication skills. People have become so habitual in using technology and social media for communicating that many have lost the basic ability to interact face-to-face when with others. It is not uncommon to observe a group of people eating at a table, and all of them are on their phones rather than interacting face-to-face. Aside from this, there are also other consequences, such as cyberbullying, people who would say things online that they would never say in person, the plethora of false information, and the inability to often distinguish between facts and opinions. Throw in the extreme advancement of AI technology, as we can observe that the consequences are only going to increase as fast or if not faster than the actual benefits. However, the use of social media and technology is not going anywhere. It is here to stay, and we must figure out how best to use it ethically as individuals as well as a society. To recap, technology and social media has contributed to the CMC process, which in turn has led to people developing their own online identities. With the development of social media and technology, we have observed the benefits as well as the consequences, and it is up to us to decide how best to use it.